The ship landed with a deep, echoing hum. Dust rose as the engines cooled down. The planet below Zarnak 7 looked quiet. Too quiet. The sky was purple. The trees had black leaves. Everything looked still. But the stillness didn't feel peaceful. It felt like something was watching. Sergeant Knox, a human soldier from Earth, stepped out first. He wore heavy armor and held his scanner in one hand. Behind him came the others, aliens from 5 different species. Most of them were Deathworlders, survivors of planets even harsher than Earth. They were proud, strong, and confident. Too confident. Knox looked around slowly. His boots crunched on red dirt. There was a strange smell in the air. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't natural either. It reminded him of burning plastic mixed with flowers. "This place feels wrong," Knox said. "Relax, human," said Commander Vorkal, a tall insectoid from Kretel 9. "Zarnak 7 is rated moderate danger." "No real threats here." Knox didn't answer. His scanner beeped softly, showing nothing. But that didn't calm him. Their mission was simple. Survive for 5 days on Zarnak 7. No ships. No outside help. No weapons stronger than handheld ones. It was part of the Galactic Survival Exchange, a challenge made for training elite units. Survivors got medals. Failures got transferred or buried. Knox had done missions like this before. But something about this one felt different. He couldn't explain why. The team set up camp near a strange rock formation shaped like a spiral tower. The ground was dry but warm. The wind moved through the trees with a soft, whispering sound. As they set up tents, Private Daloa, lizard-like Deathworlder, joked loudly. "This planet is a joke. My homeworld has acid rain every day. This is a vacation." The others laughed. Even Commander Vorkal smiled. Knox didn't laugh. He noticed that there were no animal sounds. No insects, no birds, not even the buzz of bugs. Just wind and silence. "Where's the wildlife?" he asked. "Probably hiding from your face." Dalo chuckled. Knox walked away from the group, scanning the nearby area. He found a small puddle of water beside a stone. He bent down to check it, but saw something strange. His reflection didn't match his movements. He raised his hand. His reflection didn't. He blinked. The water was still. He stood up fast. The puddle was gone. Back at camp, night was falling. The sun on Zarnak 7 dropped quickly, leaving behind a dull blue glow. The temperature stayed warm, but the silence grew heavier. They built a small fire. One of the aliens, Creel, who looked like a walking plant, began singing a song from her world. It was slow and calming. But halfway through her song, she stopped. Her eyes widened. "What is that?" she asked quietly. Everyone turned. A figure stood just outside the light of the fire. Tall, thin, not moving. Knox raised his scanner. "No reading," he whispered. Vorkal stepped forward, shouting, "Identify yourself." The figure didn't move. Then, in a blink, it was gone. Everyone stood in silence. "Scanner says nothing was there," Knox said, frowning. Vorkal looked angry. Probably a trick of the shadows. But Creel didn't speak the rest of the night. By morning, Private Dalo was gone. His tent was empty. No sign of struggle. His boots were placed neatly at the entrance. His weapon was untouched. Tracks? None. Knox searched the ground. "It's like he just vanished." "Maybe he wandered off," said another Deathworlder. "In full armor? With no prints?" Knox shook his head. "No, something took him." Vorkal looked annoyed. "This is a test. Nothing here is dangerous enough to take down a Deathworlder. He probably went exploring. We'll find him." They spent the whole day searching. No one found a trace. No heat signatures. No tracks. Not even a scent trail. By sunset, the team sat together, unsure. Tension filled the air. Nobody laughed now. Knox looked up at the trees. They were tall and wide, with leaves like flat black coins. But now, The leaves seemed to shimmer slightly, like they were watching. That night, Nox didn't sleep. He kept his eyes open, his knife in hand. He thought about Dalo, thought about the puddle, the reflection, the vanishing figure, the silence. He finally said aloud, "This planet is hiding something." Suddenly, the whispering wind turned sharp. It carried a voice. "Go back." Nox stood up fast. "Did you hear that?" The others woke, startled. "Hear what?" Vorkal asked. The wind had said something. No one heard anything, Vorkal growled. But one of the younger aliens, a feathered avian named Leek, whispered, I heard it too." Nox looked at her. "You're not crazy. Something's here." The team stayed awake all night. Number. One spoke much. In the morning. They checked on the gear. One motion sensor was missing. In its place was a circle carved into the ground. Inside the circle was a small stone, smooth and black, like polished glass. Nox picked it up. It was warm. Too warm. "Put it down," Creel whispered. Nox nodded and dropped it. "Why?" Vorkal asked. "It's just a rock." Creel pointed to the circle. "That symbol, it's old. Very old. From my people's stories. It means marked." "For testing." "Testing?" Nox asked. "Yes, by something ancient." Vorkal rolled his eyes. "Enough of this nonsense. We continue the survival plan. We search again for Dalo. We stay together." Nox looked at him. "No. We need to report this. We need extraction." "You'll look weak to your command," Vorkal said coldly. "Are humans afraid of the dark?" Nox stepped closer. "No, we're afraid of the unknown. That's called intelligence." The team split for search again, but never too far. Nox and Leek stayed together. They walked past the spiral rock formation and into the forest edge. That's when they saw it. Another puddle. Nox froze. This time, the reflection in the water was showing. Dalo. He was standing in the forest, smiling, waving. Leek gasped. "It's him!" But Nox saw something wrong. Dalo's smile didn't reach his eyes. His fingers moved like they were stuck in a loop. Wave, drop, wave, drop. "No," Nox said. "That's not him. That's bait." Suddenly, the puddle boiled and vanished. Leek looked pale. "I felt something touch my mind," Nox nodded. "This planet is not empty. It's alive." They returned to camp. Another motion sensor was missing. Another circle. Another black stone. And Vorkal? He was sitting by the fire, silent, staring. "Vorkal?" Nox asked. No answer. "Commander?" Vorkal looked up slowly. His eyes were glassy. He whispered, "I saw my home. It was burning. My people, screaming." Nox's voice dropped. "You were dreaming?" "No, I was standing there. It felt real." He looked at Nox. "We are not in control here." Nox turned to the rest of the team. "We need to survive, yes, but not the way we planned. This isn't just wilderness. It's a test. Not of strength, but of the mind." No one argued this time. Nox looked at the sky. It was darker than before, purple turning to black. But no stars. The trees swayed gently, like they were breathing. Nox whispered, "Zarnak 7 isn't a planet, it's a predator." And now it had started hunting. The morning was silent. Too silent. The usual wind was gone. No whispers. No sound. Sergeant Nox stood with his weapon ready. The other team members gathered around the fire, but no one spoke. Even Commander Vorkal, once full of pride, looked shaken. Private Dalo was still missing. But now something was different. Leek, the avian scout, pointed toward the rocks. Something new. Over there. They walked slowly, staying close. Near the base of the spiral rock tower, they found a message. It wasn't written in any known language. It was carved deep into the stone in twisting, sharp lines. It looked burned in, as if by heat or energy. Nox scanned it. The translator gave no result, but Creel, the plant-like alien, stepped forward slowly. Her voice trembled. This is an ancient warning. My ancestors told of symbols like this. They marked territory claimed by the old ones. Not creatures, but forces. Things that test minds. Test minds? Nox asked. She nodded. They do not kill with claws. They show you things. They break you from the inside. Leek took a step back. We're inside something's hunting ground. Nox knelt by the rock, touching the base. The stone felt warm, almost alive. Suddenly, his helmet scanner flared. He looked up quickly. Movement, west, 200 meters. They ran toward the signal. When they reached the spot, they found another message, this time carved into the ground. A perfect spiral, like the rock tower, but made of ash. In the center was Dalo's voice recorder. Nox picked it up carefully and pressed play. Static. Then a voice. Dalo's. I followed it. It looked like my brother. It called to me. Sighed I could go home. I thought I was dreaming. Then it smiled, and it wasn't his smile. I can't stop seeing things. I tried to scream, but the scream wouldn't come. If anyone hears this, run. The recording ended with a sharp, high-pitched tone and silence. The team stood frozen. Commander Vorkal broke the silence. He's gone, Nox nodded. He was lured, the same way it tried to lure us. Leek whispered. The puddle. The reflection. It's all connected. They returned to camp, but something had changed. The landscape looked different. The trees had shifted closer. The sky had darkened again, even though it wasn't evening. This isn't weather. Nox said, it's reacting to us. Creel suddenly collapsed. Nox rushed over. What happened? She opened her eyes slowly. I saw fire, my homeworld, all burning, but not real. I could feel the ground was cold. My body knew it. Was fake, my mind didn't care. Nox looked around at the others. This planet is making us hallucinate. Leek shook her head. No, worse. It's choosing what to show us. Things it knows will hurt. Nox turned to Vorkal. We need a plan, fast. Vorkal took a deep breath. His voice was quieter now. We stay in pairs. No one walks alone. If anyone sees something strange, they call it out, loud, and we do not trust our senses. He looked at Nox. You lead the rotation. Your instincts are sharper than mine, Nox nodded. Agreed. That night, they built a tighter camp. Lights were placed in a full circle. Motion sensors were set up again. Weapons stayed close. Nox and Leek took first watch. It was quiet. Too quiet. Then dash movement. A shadow flickered just past the light's edge. Nox aimed his rifle, but saw nothing. Suddenly, Leek froze. Her eyes widened. I see my brother. Nox grabbed her shoulder. He's not here. Tears formed in her eyes. He's waving to me. He's smiling. No, look at me. That's not him. She blinked. I know. But it feels real. Nox helped her back to the fire. The lights flickered. Then, one by one, the motion sensors went dark. Nox stood up. Everyone ready. It's coming closer. Suddenly, a shape entered the light. It was Dalo standing tall, staring. But he didn't blink. His eyes were solid black. His armor was melted in places. Smoke rose from his shoulders. Vorkal whispered, That's not him. Nox stepped forward slowly. Dalo? He asked. The figure tilted its head. Then spoke, but not in Dalo's voice. You were warned. Its face cracked open, not blood, not flesh, but smoke. Dark, thick smoke that flowed like liquid. The team raised their weapons, but Nox held up his hand. Don't shoot. That's not a body, that's a message. The figure disappeared in a blink. Smoke lingered, then faded. Creel whispered, It's playing with us. Nox nodded. Yes, and it's watching how we react. Leek asked, Then what do we do? Nox answered quietly, We stop reacting. We stop giving it what it wants. Fear. The team sat silently around the fire. The sky above pulsed like A heartbeat. Knox whispered to himself. We are being watched, judged, and the real test has just begun. The third day began with silence and fear. No one laughed now. No one joked about Deathworlders or Earth or metals. The survival team sat in a tight circle, weapons ready, eyes tired. None of them had slept well, if at all. Even Commander Vorkal, once so proud and unshakable, looked older somehow. His sharp armor was scratched. His eyes had a dull glow, like something inside had dimmed. Sergeant Knox checked the motion sensors again. All were working now, at least for the moment. But he didn't trust them. Not anymore. I've reset. The perimeter, he said. If anything moves near camp, we'll know. Creel, the plant being, sat by the fire, whispering softly to herself. Her voice was shaky. Leek, the feathered scout, sat beside her with a blanket wrapped around her shoulders. She keeps repeating the same phrase, she told Knox. What is it? He asked. Leek swallowed. She says, don't follow the sound. Don't follow the sound. Knox turned to Creel. Did you hear something last night? Creel slowly looked up. Her green eyes were full of fear. It was my mother's voice, she whispered. She was singing the lullaby she used to sing when I was small. She was standing outside the firelight, calling me. Knox nodded. But you didn't go. I wanted to, she said. I wanted to more than anything. That's how it works. It shows you what you miss, what you want. Suddenly, a scream echoed through the forest. Everyone jumped to their feet. The sound was deep, rough, and familiar. It's Culver, Vorkal said. That's one of ours. Culver was another Deathworlder, huge, muscular, with bones so dense he once survived a landslide on his home planet. He had gone with a partner to scout the nearby ridge. Knox raised his weapon. Let's go. Stay together. They ran in pairs, eyes sharp, hearts racing. They found Culver within minutes. He was crouched by a tree, armor cracked, face pale. His partner was gone. Vorkal knelt beside him. Culver, what happened? Culver looked up slowly. I saw fire. A burning forest. My village, my family screaming. But it wasn't real. I knew it wasn't real. He began shaking. But then, I saw myself, standing in the flames, laughing. Knox frowned. Yourself? Yes, Culver said. It wasn't a copy. It was me. And he said, you were never brave. You were just angry. Culver began crying. I believed him. Vorkal stood. Take him back to camp. As they walked back, no one spoke. Team's strongest fighter had broken. When they reached the camp, Leek whispered to Knox, I think I understand. This planet doesn't just attack your fears. It attacks your lies. Knox looked at her. She continued, it shows you what you don't want to admit, what you hide even from yourself. Vorkal called a meeting. They sat close around the fire. Vorkal's voice was slow now. No shouting. No arrogance. We are Deathworlders. We come from planets that chew bones and boil rivers. We thought we understood danger. We were wrong. He looked at Knox. The human was right. This planet is alive. And it does not care how strong your body is. Knox said, it's testing. US, not with violence, with truth. It's looking for something. Leek added softly, it wants to see who breaks. And who accepts. Vorkal nodded. From now on, we follow the human's lead. The others agreed. That night, Knox assigned pairs again. They set the lights in tighter circles. No one walked beyond the edge. No one trusted their eyes or ears still. The forest shifted again. Now the trees looked like people, twisted into shapes that reminded each alien of home. The leaves whispered names. Culver sat quietly, staring at the fire. No one spoke to him. No one knew what to say. At midnight, the wind returned. It whispered a new message. This time, everyone heard it. One of you does not belong. The fire cracked. Leek looked around. What does it mean? Knox stood slowly. It's trying to turn us against each other. He looked at each face one by one. We can't let it. Then suddenly, a figure walked into the camp. Not from the forest. From inside their own tents. It was Kreel. But another Creel was already sitting by the fire. Everyone froze. Two identical plant beings stood a few feet apart. One of them smiled. The other whispered, "It's me." "That's not me. You have to believe me." The other Creel tilted her head. Then she said, in Nox's voice, "Trust is the test." Everyone pointed their weapons. Nox raised a hand. "No one fires." He stepped between them. "Creel," he said, "what was the first thing you said to me on day one?" One of them blinked. "I said you were paranoid." The other said, "I said your human gut would help us survive." Nox pointed to the second. "That's the real Creel." The fake smiled again. Then it melted. Not like flesh, but like smoke again. It faded into the air, leaving behind a smell of burning leaves. The fire dimmed. Culver stood, breathing hard. "It's inside our minds." Nox looked around the circle. "We can't trust what we see, but we can trust each other." Everyone nodded. Even Vorkal. As the fire crackled and the sky turned darker, the whispering returned. But this time, the team didn't flinch. They listened and waited. Because now the planet knew. They weren't afraid. Not anymore. The next morning, the camp was quiet, but the fear had not left. Sergeant Nox stood at the edge of the clearing, watching the dark forest. The trees seemed to lean closer, their black leaves whispering secrets only the wind could hear. The team moved carefully. No one spoke louder than a whisper. Every shadow felt alive. "Creel?" Nox asked softly. "How do you feel today?" Creel rubbed her temples. "Worse. The visions are stronger. But I try to fight them." Leek nodded. "Last night I dreamed of flying, but I couldn't move, like my wings were tied." Commander Vorkal paced slowly. "This planet is attacking more than our minds. It's attacking our will." Nox looked at the scanners. "They were all normal, but nothing shows on the sensors," he said. "That's the problem," Vorkal said grimly. "The danger is invisible." Nox understood. This was no creature they could see or shoot. This was something else. Something silent. Suddenly, the wind stopped. No whispers. No rustle. The forest held its breath. Then from the shadows, a low growl echoed. Everyone froze. Nox aimed his weapon toward the sound. Nothing appeared. Shadow moved behind a tree, then another behind a rock. The team spread out, following the sounds, but the shadows vanished every time they tried to see. Culver grunted. "We are being hunted by nothing." Nox frowned. "No, we are being hunted by fear itself." He lowered his weapon. "This is a game. A trap." He turned to the group. "We have to stay together. Keep our minds strong. Don't give it power." The forest around them pulsed with quiet energy. Leek stepped forward. "What if it doesn't want to kill us? What if it wants to break us?" Creel shivered. "Break us. So we fight ourselves." Suddenly, one of the tents burst into flames. The fire spread fast. The team rushed to put it out. Inside the tent, they found a broken helmet and a note carved on the wall with sharp claws. "You cannot hide from what you fear." Nox looked around. "Who's missing?" Leek's voice was shaky. "Culver." The giant was gone. They called his name. No answer. No footprints. No sign. Only the cold wind. Vorkal clenched his fists. He didn't run away. He was taken. Nox knew it was true. This predator didn't need teeth or claws. His minds. It used doubt, and it was patient. As night fell, Nox made a decision. "We stay awake in shifts. No one goes alone. We watch the fire." The team nodded. But Nox knew. The silent predator was waiting. And next time, it would strike where they least expected. Darkness covered Zarnek 7 like a thick blanket. No stars. No moon. Just silence. The fire in the middle of camp burned low, casting flickering shadows on the survivors' faces. 4 remain now: Sergeant Knox, Commander Vorkel, Creel, and Leek. Culver was gone. Dalo was gone. Others had vanished without sound, without warning. The Deathworlders were strong, trained, built for war, but they were not ready for this. Knox sat near the fire, rubbing dirt between his fingers. He spoke quietly. "We've been fighting the wrong way." Vorkel looked up. "What do you mean?" "This planet isn't testing our strength," Knox said. "It's testing our minds, our memories, our pain. It wants to see who will fall first and who will break last." Leek's feathers drooped. "Then we're all doomed." "No," Knox said. "We just have to change how we fight." He reached into his pack and pulled out a small piece of string. Then he tied it around his wrist. Vorkel frowned. "What is that supposed to do?" "It's called a grounding string," Knox said. "Old Earth soldiers used it in combat zones. When panic hits, you touch it, you pull on it. You focus your mind on the present. It reminds you what's real." He passed string to the others. "It's simple, it's human, but it works." Vorkel held the string with doubt in his eyes. "You think this will stop hallucinations?" "No," Knox said. "But it helps us stay ourselves while they happen." Creel tied hers slowly. "We need this. I can feel my memories blending. I don't know what's real anymore." Knox stood. "That's why we do it the human way, mind over fear." They set new rules. Each person kept a list of 3 real facts written on their hand. Leek wrote, "I am on Zarnak 7. I am still alive. My team is real." Knox made them repeat it every hour. They took short turns sleeping. They kept talking. They kept reminding each other what was true. And for the first time since they landed, no one disappeared that night. The next morning, the forest looked the same. But something had changed. The trees were still. No whispers. No illusions. Just silence. Leek looked up. "Did we win?" Knox shook his head. "No, we survived 1 round." Then his scanner beeped. A large energy spike. 30 meters west. They followed the signal, weapons ready. Staying close. In the center of a small clearing, they found something new. A tall black stone, smooth and glowing faintly red. And beside it -var. Alive. But sitting on the ground, motionless. His eyes were wide, his mouth open. He was breathing, but barely. Knox knelt beside him. "Culver, can you hear me?" Culver whispered. "It showed me everything. My regrets, my fears, my failures, all at once." Leek touched his shoulder. "You're back now." Culver looked at Knox. "How did you survive it?" Knox answered simply, "We didn't fight it. We accepted the fear, but didn't let it control us." Vorkel nodded. "The human way." Suddenly, the black stone pulsed. A voice echoed from nowhere, deep, ancient. Not in any known language. The translators couldn't decode it. But the message was clear. "The test continues." The ground beneath the stone cracked open. Stairs led down into darkness. Knox looked at the others. "We're not done. The real test is inside." He tightened the string around his wrist. "Let's show this planet what humans are really made of." The black stone cracked wider. From its base, ancient stairs twisted down into the earth, vanishing into darkness. Cold air rushed upward, carrying a faint metallic scent like rusted blood and burnt wire. Sergeant Knox took a breath and looked at the others. "Stay close. No one wanders. And keep your minds focused." He led the way down, flashlight in hand. Behind him came Vorkel, Creel, Leek, and Culver, still weak, but walking. The walls of the tunnel were smooth, curved like something had melted the rock into perfect shapes. Strange symbols pulsed faintly on the stone, none of them familiar. Creel stared at them. These weren't made by hands. These were grown, like roots, alive. Leek shivered. "This doesn't feel like a cave. It feels like a stomach." The stairs ended in a massive chamber, round, hollow, and utterly silent. Then The lights flickered. The floor shifted under their boots, and the chamber changed. Suddenly, they were no longer together. Each one stood alone. Nox blinked. 1 second he was in the chamber. The next he was in his old bedroom on Earth, his parents' house. It looked perfect, neat, familiar. He saw a photo of himself in uniform. A letter from the academy. His father's voice calling from the kitchen. Dinner's ready. Nox stepped back. He knew this was fake. This wasn't real. He touched the string on his wrist. I am on Zarnak 7. I am in a test. This is not my home. But the illusion didn't fade. Instead, a young version of himself walked into the room, eyes wide, full of fear. You left me, the child said. Nox's chest tightened. I needed you, and you left. Nox dropped to one knee. I didn't know how to help you back then. I was scared too. The child stared at him, eyes now glowing. Then why did you pretend to be strong? Nox whispered. Because I thought I had to be. The illusion cracked. The room shattered like glass. Nox dropped back into the real chamber. He looked around. He wasn't alone. The others had also returned, shaken, sweating, but alive. Vorkal knelt on the floor, hands shaking. Creel was crying. Silently, Leek was clutching her list of facts. Culver lay on his back, eyes closed, breathing hard. Vorkal finally spoke. It showed me my victories and turned them into graves. Leek added, it showed me my future, a future where I failed. Nox stood. That was the real Gauntlet. Not fire, not monsters, truth. Creel looked around. But we're still here. We passed it, didn't we? The walls lit up with symbols again. The floor shook. The chamber shifted once more. Now it showed them a new image, a massive open arena. Cold wind, a black sky, a single path ahead. Nox narrowed his eyes. No, that wasn't the end. He stepped forward. The test is still waking up. The team stood at the edge of the new arena. Cold wind blew across the stone floor. The sky above was black, no stars, no moon, just emptiness. A single path led forward, lined with tall stone columns shaped like twisted faces. Some were smiling. Others were screaming. Vorkal clenched his fists. This place, it knows too much. Culver, still recovering, leaned against Creel. I feel like it's inside my head. Digging deeper, Sergeant Nox took the lead again. One step at a time. Keep your mind strong. Speak your facts if you feel dizzy. This is mental warfare. They walked into the arena slowly. Each step echoed. Then, without warning, the stone floor shifted under Culver. He fell through a hole, vanishing in seconds. Culver! Leek shouted. They rushed over, but the hole was gone. Just flat stone. Nox scanned the ground. It took him. Again. But this time, Culver wasn't silent. A moment later, his voice echoed across the chamber, loud, broken, full of panic. Get out. You don't understand. It's not a test anymore. The voice faded. Then silence. The group froze. Creel whispered, it's getting stronger. It doesn't want to test us now. It wants to consume us. Vorkal's eyes darted around the arena. His breath came faster. His hands trembled. Nox noticed. Vorkal, talk to me. I can't. Vorkal said, shaking his head. I keep seeing them, my brothers, my team, all gone. I led them into a trap. He backed away, eyes wide. I thought I was a leader. But I was just the first one to break. Nox stepped forward. You didn't break, Vorkal. You survived. That's what leaders do. Vorkal stared at him. Then why do I feel like I've already died? Suddenly, the walls of the arena shifted again. Now each of them stood in their worst moment. Creel stood on her, burned homeworld, watching her people scream. Leek stood in a battlefield full of dead avians, feathers and blood. Vorkal was back in the wreckage of his old ship, holding the bodies of his crew. And Nox? Nox stood before a battlefield hospital, watching a friend die because of an order he gave. The voice returned deep, mocking, ancient. You think you are strong. But strength means nothing when the mind is weak. Nox dropped to his knees. Air was too heavy. His lungs burned. His head ached with voices. But then, he reached for the string on his wrist. He pulled it tight. He whispered, "I am Sergeant Nox. I am on Zarnak 7. I am alive, and I do not run." He opened his eyes. The illusion broke. He stood in the arena again and saw the others slowly rise. One by one, they repeated their facts, their truths, their grounding thoughts. Leek wiped her eyes. "I'm not my failure." Creel stood tall. "I remember who I am." Even Vorkal, shaking, said, "I am not done." The arena went still. The wind stopped. Then a new doorway opened in the far wall. Carved above it were 3 simple words: "You may pass." Nox looked at the others. "We broke. But we got back up." Vorkal nodded. "Then we didn't break at all." And together, they walked through the doorway. The doorway led into a quiet hall of light. The walls glowed softly, not harsh, not cold. For the first time since landing on Zarnak 7, the survivors felt warmth. Not from fire, but from something deeper. Peace. Sergeant Nox stepped forward, leading Creel, Leek, and Vorkal. Culver was still missing. But they didn't speak of it now. They just walked. At the center of the hall stood a tall stone pedestal. On it was a simple object, a silver cube. Floating in the air, spinning slowly. It pulsed with a soft, steady rhythm like a heartbeat. Creel whispered, "Is it over?" Nox shook his head. "Not yet." Suddenly, the cube stopped spinning. A deep voice filled the room, not angry, not cruel, calm, powerful. "You have seen your truths. You have faced your fears. You were broken, but you rose." The walls shifted, showing visions. Culver, alive, standing in another chamber, smiling weakly. Dalo, lost forever, his image fading into the stars. Each of their fallen teammates appeared one last time, silent, peaceful. This was not a game. It was not punishment. It was revelation. Nox stepped forward. "What are you?" The voice replied, "We are what your kind may one day become. Mind without body, will without limits. We test those who believe strength alone makes them worthy." Leek frowned. "Why test us?" "Because one day your species will lead. And before that day, you must understand what real strength is." Vorkal stepped forward. "Then tell us, what is real strength?" There was a long pause. Then the voice answered, "The courage to face yourself. The will to keep walking through pain. The choice to protect others, even when you're broken." The cube lowered into Nox's hands. "Take this. It holds knowledge of our test, of our history. Share it, but only with those ready to listen." The cube flashed once. Then everything turned white. Back on the ship, they awoke inside the survival pod. The camp, the arena, the illusions all gone. Nox sat up. Creel, Leek, and Vorkal were beside him. A soft chime echoed. Extraction confirmed. Survival test complete. The AI didn't sound surprised, but it did sound impressed. A screen flashed. Team status. Pass notes. Human-led. Squad resisted advanced psychic exposure and survived full cycle Gauntlet. Mental stability restored. Warning. Zarnak 7 is to be reclassified as a Type Black anomaly. Cause: presence of ancient intelligent force. Nox held the cube in his lap. He looked out the window at the stars ahead. "We didn't survive because we were strong," he said quietly. "We survived because we understood what danger really is." Vorkal nodded. "And because humans don't quit." Leek smiled. "Not even when the universe throws ghosts in their face." Creel laughed softly. "Especially then." As the ship rose from Zarnak 7 and joined the stars, the team knew they would never be the same. They had passed the test, and now they would prepare others for what waited in the dark.